Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Today is going to be a little bit of a different day. Yeah, we're going to talk about jelly prints. You've seen me create with jelly prints, but have you ever wondered how I selected my jelly prints that go onto my panel boards? Well, we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about, good morning, Christina. We're also going to talk about or we're going to finish up our two little canvas boards that we've been working on for the last 2 days. And then what we're going to do is look at some jelly prints and how I selected the jelly prints that go on here. So just a little bit of thoughts behind how I approach my jelly prints. Those will be what we have. So if you have jelly prints or you've ever wondered what are you going to do with these jelly prints, that is, one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel is is back several years ago when when I was going to, let me back up. Several years ago when I started jelly printing, I went onto YouTube trying to find what I was going to do with all these jelly prints. Like I had tons of them, massive amounts of them. I still do. I still have a lot of them. And I just didn't know what to do with them. So I searched YouTube and the internet. What am I going to do with these jelly prints? And there was not an answer that really satisfied what I was going to do with them. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago, it was during COVID. So that's when I started my YouTube channel. And I just had to find my own path through that. Sometimes when you don't know what to do, you just jump in both feet and into the swimming pool in the deep end and swim. And if you don't know how to swim, you will figure it out real quick. And so that's kind of like what I did with jelly prints. I was like, what am I going to do with all these jelly prints? So I just jumped right on in and forged my own path. And so that's what my channel's about is what to do with them, different techniques with them, how to create them. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button so you'll be notified when I do another video. But today we're going to talk about uh, how I select the jelly prints that go onto my canvas boards. So think about those things, and as far as what to do with your jelly prints, and maybe we can come up with something together. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, and let's go finish our canvas boards, and then we'll select the next jelly prints that go on the next canvas boards. Okay, so for those that you were in my community, you got a close-up shot of what these look like right now. What I wanted to do was finish outlining and add some shading to this one. Basically, these two focal points here to pop this out and maybe push this into the background more. So add some more highlight and shadow in this area as well. So let me just finish this real quick because I'm not gonna outline every one of these little squares. I just wanted enough to um accentuate, there's the word, accentuate the movement. So Christina, have you been jelly printing today? Or oh Sherry, look what you did. It's a good thing Posca markers, I can pick that right back up. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, that was a disaster averted right there. Have you been creating jelly prints or doodling today? I haven't I'd like to see your latest ones. I find that your doodles are very inspiring. So, if you feel up to it. Let's see here. I just want like one more, I think, like right there. Okay, so I said I wasn't going to outline every one of them, but we came pretty close. I'll just say that. Hmm. Okay. One. I keep saying one more. There's like this little one right there. All right, I think that's what we're doing. Not seeing anything else I want to really do with it. Maybe it just adds a little bit of shadow here. Good morning. Good morning, Angie. How are you? Good deal on your scoring of your pens and stuff. Okay, I just want to add a little shadow under here. And I'm using a Stabilo pen. Stabilo pen. Love these pens. Because I can shade with them. I just wanted to get that little shadow. I'm having to turn it to the side so I can kind of see it because of the I'm not seeing it because of the glare, because of the matte gel matte medium makes a little bit of a glare. And so I'm having to shade it from like the side just a little bit. Get off there. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that, but how they just a little bit of shading underneath the what I'm calling the boats right now really pops that from the back. And I like that. Um, and I think there's also a white Stabilo pin. And you might not be able to see it. I don't tend to really shade with this too much. I just add a little bit of highlight. I'm just putting that in the background just a little bit because when you take a white Stabilo pen, you don't really see it so much. I mean, you can, like, there's a little bit on the horizon there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. See that right there? So what this did was just a Stabilo pen by putting the shadow here and a little bit of highlight up there. It really gave this dimension. Oh, it's actually Angie, this is actually copy paper that I jelly printed on. Okay. So, real quick on these, I definitely want to put like a little bit of highlight on these, but when you have a highlight on one, you know, you got to give a little bit of a shadow behind it to give it some depth to really make that pop. And this one right here, it's just a real fine line against this, and then just kind of I'm blending that in just a little bit, and then see, that white didn't turn out the way I wanted. Sometimes I don't use the white as like with the water because it just does not pop the way I want it to. And then this one here, I'm just adding a little bit of shading in the back to show that this one is up front. Just a little bit. Oh, it is canvas boards. 4x4 canvas boards is what I'm working on. I'm just taking a little bit of the water off, just a little bit. And another way you can accentuate is by taking the black Posca marker. And because I have a little bit of water on here, it kind of makes it a little bit more fluid. Where is my, I'm looking for a little brush. And you could just take your brush with a Posca marker and just kind of like smooth it out just a little bit. A little bit too much black for me on here, but that's okay. We'll just take some of that off. And then I'm going to try that white again because I just really like, there we go. And you see how it gave it some depth. I put some highlight here, some shadow here. And I took away the shadow that's right here. I just gave it a real fine line because it is in front. And then I'm going to add a little shadow up here. Or highlight, sorry. I don't know if it's going to show or not because of that. Now, to make this blue pop just a little bit, and I know we haven't talked about jelly prints yet, but we will here in a minute. Taking some of that back here behind the other blue one. To give it just a little bit of shadow. Will and I'm just, the reason why I'm making big broad strokes is because I'm trying to blend it into the background just a little bit. You see how those two right here are starting to really pop. Because I added that shadow. This white is, do I have a white Posca marker? Okay. Let me take off some of that water that's on there. Oh, I hate it when it does that. It's a loaded, but it doesn't always do the thing I need it to do. Sherry. I think I need some new Posca markers. Yeah, it's not, I don't like it. Why don't it give me a fine? I just want a fine line. It's giving me everything but what I'm asking for. No, we'll go back to it in just a minute. The other thing you could do when things aren't working You pick out your distressed crayons. I have this white picket fence. This is my backup. If I can't get what I want, I'm going to put white crayon on it. And where did my water brush go? And kind of just like blend that in the way you want it. Well, it's just not working out today. What is going on with you? All right. Let's see what we can do with that. I'm not. Where's the black? I want just a little bitty line right here. See if we can brush that out just a little bit. Still looking for that white line, but we'll come back to it. It's just that it's just not. Give me what I want, please. Okay, it gave it to me just a little bit, so. There we go. And I did erase that little bitty line over here by accident, so we're just going to put that back in there. Yep. There you go. So we pushed it. We pushed that background in, brought this more forward, and then brought this even further from the blue. Okay. All right. So let's take I'm going to do just a little bit here, and then we'll look at our jelly prints. And we might just go over just a little bit. This is going just a little bit, over, I think. So I want to bring this particular jelly print a little bit more forward. So we're going to do the same techniques. Let's push this more back into the background. You see, just that one little line really popped that jelly print forward. It just that one little black line that I did that. And then if you wanted to pop these, you do the same thing. You just draw that line, and then you're going to have to go back in with a little bit of white if I can get it to work and I don't have too much. Now I'm just making this really faint because otherwise it detracts. So I'm just making a little bit of faintness. And and what I like about the Stabilo is that if it has a little bit of water on your piece of artwork there, it makes it darker. So I like that. Now, do you see how just that little bit line really makes these, instead of being blended into the background, it really just pops it forward. Now my white Posca pen is working, but it's blending into the back just a little bit. You just had to wake up like the rest of us, I think. And I'm just giving a little bit of highlight randomly in places that I think. And now that my Posca marker's working, oh, look at that. There's the white that I was looking for. There. You see that? Now look at the depth. Look at the depth that we created with just plain paper. That is, I really like how that's looking on camera. So, okay. And then I wanted to add a little bit of accent here. So I'm going to, I wish they had like a yellow. Man, I am missing my yellow Posca marker. I really miss it. Because I would have taken a yellow right here. I really like this yellow and trying to pull that in. So I'm gonna have to get a new one for sure. I gotta go Hobby Lobby anyway, so the kid will not be too happy that I want to go to Hobby Lobby today when I pick him up, but he's just gonna have to suck it up. He wants to get home and do homework, and who would imagine a kid who wants to come home and do homework? Okay, so I'm gonna put like a little bit of darkness around that there to pop that up. The to this jelly skin, that's what it was. Skin of paint here. Just popping that up, and then let's see if we can get the white to work again. I just want a little bit. It's just not doing what I need it to do. Is this gonna work? Oh, there it is. There's the one I was looking for. So we just add a little bit of highlight there, and then a little bit of black here. And then there we are. All right. I'm liking it. All right. So while this one's more, it's got a little shading in it. We could add a little bit of white in there. And then I'm just taking the paint. Posca markers are just a little bit of paint. So I'm just taking my brush and just kind of smoothing it out just a little bit to look like the water's lapping on to the edge of whatever this is. And then again, I'm going to take the black and just do the edge there. And if you don't have a water brush, man, I love the water brushes and the Stabilos. Just really love them. Okay. And then I'm using the same, taking a little brush and taking that water and just really pushing it. And then you see how that popped that green, and then the white down here just really popped this blue more forward. And all right, I think we're done with these two. These might not make it into the collage. They may just sit on their own as their own little pieces. I still want some yellow here. Got to bring that yellow back in there, but we'll work it. Okay, so those are the two pieces that we're done. All right, let's look at our jelly prints. I know we're running a little bit over. Okay, so if you haven't seen my video on how I separate my jelly prints, I separate them into 3 categories. The goats, the greatest of all time jelly prints. These are ones that I'm like, do I really want to cut these up and turn them into something else? And then the other one is, oh, I forgot. Diamonds in the rough. That's what I called it. Diamonds in the rough, where they need a little something something on them to become greatest of all times, or they could easily turn into bad news bears if you choose the wrong thing. So it could go either way. It just needs a little something something, and it makes a decision between the goat or the bad news bears. And then the bad news bears, these are really, to be quite honest, I use bad news bears a lot. This one here, this one really, and separating your jelly prints is purely subjective. So like right now I'm looking at this, I'm going, maybe this is a diamond in the rough. And if I did another jelly print on it, or I did a little something to it, maybe it will go in the other direction. But right now it's sitting in the bad news bears. But like this guy right here, okay. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like this jelly print. This is one, in my mind, this is one ugly jelly print. Somebody might like it, right? Why do I not like this jelly print? Well, it's probably because of the colors and the white that's in here, right? So you got red and green, which are complementary colors, and those are typically good colors to go together. I mean, think about Christmas for a minute. However, it's the pattern on this. It's the white that's showing through. This is just a pure experimental. So, I might use this. Now, if I were to use this on my little white canvas board, right? Sometimes I will go through here. Oh, I'm missing a tool. 1 second. I'll let you look at that for 1 second. I will use what I call a viewfinder, right? Now, this viewfinder is made up of mat board, and you can easily get this from when you buy picture frames, and it comes with different size mat boards. That's what this is. This is just a mat board. So I use this as a viewfinder to kind of block out like, oh, how would that look if I just had this little section in my gel print cut out, because it's not quite the same size, but it kind of gives you an idea. You could also make it a little smaller, like about the size of this, to kind of get the idea of, okay, that's how this would look on my canvas board. So I often just go around and block out sections. I'm just making this about the same size sections to see what it would look like. I may not choose this corner because you have this lot of green and you have a little less pattern, but we're going to put things on top of it. So maybe it would work, right? So that's how I look at my jelly prints to see what I want to do. This one here, reason why I don't like this probably is because of a lot of the white space that's in it. And, but however, this little section right here, yeah, about right there could definitely be interesting on the canvas board. So now this one has potential. This one has potential because you have all this yellow right here. I really am not fond of this print. This is not like a greatest of all time print. It's the randomness of the gel print. So, but I do like this yellow spot. So if I were to see how it really, okay, look at this as a whole, right? If you're looking at this as a whole, It's you know, it's a bad news bear print, in my opinion, right? But I'm really drawn to this yellow. But when you put this viewfinder here and you're blocking out all the rest and you're just focused on this area, that has potential. So for example, yep. For example, I would probably use this piece of my gel print for my canvas board. So we're gonna put that one to the side. This one, well, it's your typical gel print. I pulled it off in the middle of the paper. It's probably why I don't like it. It's because you get this big blue spot in the middle of my paper. What am I going to do with the edge around here? This is where I take my gel print and I either cut just out the blue and then I'll use these strips for something else. So this is definitely because of the type of paper it's on. This is definitely one of my first jelly prints from years ago. Um, but I think I would just cut this blue out and then use the strips elsewhere. Now, as you can see, I've used this gel print before, so I'm going to keep that out because this is really nice. And maybe that will be like half, that could go on half the board, right? So you see that? So that's got potential. This probably shouldn't be in here, but here it is. And this one shouldn't be in here either. I'll put those to the side. They're miscategorized. I can already see that. Same thing, a gel print from years ago, where I just took a print from the middle of the paper, which makes no sense to me, but that's not how I print now. I would probably print more to the side instead of all around, but this has some potential. This is more interesting to me than that last one. No, moving on. Okay, so we still keep going through here. What does this look like? I kind of like that blue right there, right? That might be interesting. I'll put that to the side. Now, here comes some real fun ones. Well, these are rough. So, when my son was younger and he would jelly print with me, purple and green. That's what we have here. Purple and green. That's all he would jelly print with. So, could we do something with those? Maybe. Maybe. Not seeing anything right now. Nope. Oh, look, a brown print. Love it. Okay, this right here should not probably be in here. That probably got miscategorized. I can just tell. Okay, let's look at this one. This one's an interesting little character. What does that? Black. Maybe. I don't know. Don't know if I will like this big white spot because it almost becomes the focal point of the gel print. So, oh, miscategorized. Next one's miscategorized. That's over there. I don't know what am I doing here with all these miscategorizations? Okay, this one's all right. I'm just not liking the green. So, could we do something that's more interesting? Yeah, I'm not seeing it. This would be a good one. Oh, wait, this one's even better. So, I really like the spots in the background here. So, this is on cardstock though, and I want copy paper or thinner paper. Cardstock. Okay. This is a bad news bear print, but I can tell you, as I still look at this, I kind of like it. It's cardstock, so we're driving on. This might be interesting for like a half a version. That might be interesting. So we'll put that to the side. So when you're looking through your jelly prints, I know we're over just a little bit, but when you're looking through your jelly prints, create your own little viewfinder. Sure, could I create one that's about the size of this particular canvas board? Yes, I could. But I didn't. I just cut down what was in the picture frames that you get, and I'm using that as like part of my canvas board. So, and then I'll just kind of push it off to the side and go, oh, that's about the size of the canvas board. So, what do I think about that? So, this is a good exercise. Take your jelly prints that you're just not fond of and see if you're going to use them and see what you come up with. That might be interesting right there. So, we'll see. Okay, so that's where we are. So, with that, thank you for hanging out with me. And I really liked how, sorry, I was just looking at comments. I really like how these two really turned out with pushing back the background and bringing the foreground a little bit forward and taking some focal points and giving them some shadow. That took a life on its own. It really, that whole lesson right there, that wasn't really meant for this video, but that's what we did. And with the live, sometimes you just got to go with whatever your art is saying to you. And I was just going to add some accents with Posca markers, and it turned into something different in real time. When you're looking at your jelly prints, definitely look at them in a different perspective. Use a viewfinder if you need to. You can create a viewfinder with a piece of paper, a white piece of paper, copy paper, the size of the canvas board, and do the same technique that I just did with the little map board that I had. Um, so with that, um, look at your art, um, see practice that shading and that highlighting with your jelly prints and see what comes up. Also, look at your old jelly prints and see what comes up for you. See if you could see them in a new way. And if you are part of the community, please feel free to drop your art into the community. I would love to see it and see how you're progressing over these 100 days. And I hope you have a great day today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art.